The movie opens as a teenage girl named Natalie is driving through the San Fernando Valley. She grabs her water bottle from the back seat before she checks her phone and sees a message from her friend. A rock fragment then hits her car before suddenly a rockslide pushes her car over the edge, making it tumble hard down the hill and getting Natalie and her car stuck in a wedge over certain doom. A rescue team, led by Ray Gaines, flies in from their chopper to save Natalie. One of Ray's teammates, Joby, descends on a rope to try and stabilize the car. The car slides and pins Joby's arm against the hill. Ray comes down to help both Natalie and Joby, but the helicopter's engine starts to fail. Ray quickly takes off the door and pulls Natalie out before they cut the rope off the car, sending it plummeting to the ground and freeing Joby in the process. Joby then gives Ray a thumbs up with his good arm. At Caltech, Dr. Lawrence Hayes is giving a lecture to his students on a history of devastating earthquakes around the globe, like the 2011 Sendai earthquake in Japan, which took the lives of 19,759 people and even moved the main island of Japan 8 feet. And the largest earthquake recorded in North America is in Alaska in 1964, which was a 9.1 on a Richter scale. The Earth shook for 5 minutes, and the energy released was equivalent to 10 million nuclear bombs. But the biggest earthquake ever recorded was in 1960 off the coast of Valdivia in southern Chile, which was a 9.5 on the Richter scale. The quake lasted 11 minutes, and it spawned a tsunami 82 feet high. Lawrence then tells his students that the research they are doing to predict future earthquakes is very important since they can save millions of lives. Back at the Los Angeles Fire Department base, Ray is talking with his friend Marcus about taking some days off to take his daughter, Blake, to college as her volleyball team has their first game. Back at Caltech, Lawrence is approached by his friend and colleague, Dr. Kim Park, over some small seismic activity nearby at a dam. Kim tells him that if they can get there while the mini quakes continue, they can test their theory. And if the magnetic pulse rate goes up before the quakes, they can predict them. On Ray's day off, he goes home and talks with Blake on the phone. Ray wants to spend quality time with Blake, but unfortunately, she tells him that she's made plans with her mom, Emma, and Emma's new boyfriend, Daniel. To make things even worse, he receives an envelope with divorce papers. He goes into Blake's old room and finds a picture of all three of them plus Ray's other daughter, Mallory, who tragically drowned in a rafting accident. Lawrence and Kim go to the Hoover Dam to observe and record the seismic activity. However, Kim notices that there is an even bigger quake happening at that moment. The ground begins to tremble, and the dam starts to crack. Lawrence tells everyone to get off the dam as the ground continues to shake. Kim manages to get back up and starts running to safety. While everyone runs, Kim sees a little girl hiding in fear. He takes her and runs to safety as the concrete starts to break beneath his feet. Knowing he won't make it, Kim throws the little girl to Lawrence, who catches her. Kim's foot gets impaled on a steel bar, and he tells the girl to close her eyes. The dam bursts, taking Kim with it. Lawrence watches in horror as his friend dies, and the structure is destroyed. Ray goes to Daniel's house as he hears about the Hoover Dam accident on the radio. He meets with Blake, Emma, and Daniel. Ray is now needed at Nevada to assist with the Hoover Dam's accident, canceling the plan they had with Blake. Daniel says he can take her there since he has a business meeting in San Francisco, and they can fly to her volleyball game right after. Ray is none too happy to learn that Emma is already moving in with Daniel. Emma apologizes for not telling him earlier, but Ray tells her not to worry about it, and says he will sign the divorce papers for her before he drives away. Blake and Daniel fly to San Francisco, where Daniel assures her that he doesn't intend to replace what she has with her father and respects the relationship they have. Blake asks him why he doesn't have kids, and Daniel shows her the picture of a new under-construction high-rise building in San Francisco that he is helping construct. He tells her that when it is finished, it will be the strongest and tallest building in the city. Daniel tells her that he never had kids since he was always busy with his work. They arrive at San Francisco and are taken by Daniel's driver. Lawrence is approached by a reporter named Serena over the recent disaster in Nevada. Although slightly hesitant following Kim's death, Lawrence proceeds with the interview. It's interrupted when some of Lawrence's colleagues detect heavier seismic activity all along the San Andreas Fault. Lawrence draws a line on a map from the bottom of the San Andreas up to the Hoover Dam. He hypothesizes that what happened at Nevada was not an anomaly, but a precursor movement along the leading edge of the plate boundary fault from Los Angeles all the way up to San Francisco. Lawrence realizes that all the major cities are headed for trouble. Blake goes to the office building where Daniel works and waits at the lobby as Daniel goes to his meeting. There, she meets a friendly British guy named Ben. Ben is nervous and accidentally spills his coffee on his suit. Blake gives him a napkin, and they meet each other. Blake asks him if he is meeting with Daniel, and Ben tells her he wishes, because he is there for a job interview to work for the company. Blake then meets Ben's younger brother Ollie. Ben and Blake are attracted to each other, but Ben gets annoyed when Ollie keeps talking to Blake better than him. Ben then gets called to his interview, leaving Ollie with Blake. Ollie and Blake quickly start to talk, and Ollie tells her that they are from England and they have come here for the job interview and have planned to stay for the holiday. Emma is having lunch in Los Angeles with Daniel's sister Susan, who is snotty and makes an insensitive comment regarding Mallory's death, which puts off Emma. Emma takes a phone call from Ray, who is flying in his chopper. He apologizes to her for his behavior earlier, and Emma apologizes for not telling him earlier that she is moving in with Daniel. As they talk, Emma notices the silverware on the table shaking. A huge quake starts to hit, rocking the whole building. From Ray's view, he sees a highway collapse. He tells Emma to run to the roof where he can find her. The earthquake is hitting Caltech too, and Lawrence and his colleagues take cover under a table. One of his colleagues tells him that the Richter has jumped from 6.5 to 8.5. They see that the whole San Andreas fault line is being activated and that the quake is heading for San Francisco. The earthquake continues in LA, causing debris to fall and crush people. Susan runs out the exit, only to fall to her death since that part of the building has broken off. Emma tries to guide people to the roof, but everyone runs downstairs. She gets to the roof to see the other buildings collapse. The floor then collapses and Emma falls multiple floors down. Emma wakes up and climbs back out again. Ray manages to find her, but before he can help her, the building starts to catch fire. She points to him to meet her at a safe spot and begins to run. Ray puts the chopper on autopilot and drops a safety harness for her to grab. As Emma runs to him, another floor collapses and she nearly falls to her death. Emma gets back up and continues to run as another nearby building collapses. A large gust of wind starts to come just as Emma jumps onto the harness. Ray pulls the harness up and Emma manages to survive. They start to fly away, but are nearly hit by another collapsing building. The chopper swerves around, but Ray manages to get it back under control. Multiple other buildings starts to collapse, but Ray and Emma manage to fly away. Daniel finishes his meeting, and before she leaves, Blake writes her number down for Ben. Daniel and Blake are being driven away from the parking garage as the quake hits. They try to drive away, but the floor shatters and they end up crashing. The driver is crushed and killed instantly, pinning Blake's legs down in the process. Daniel says he is going to get help, but he runs away like a coward and tells a guard that Blake is trapped down there. At that moment, the building's ceiling shatters and nearly kills Daniel. Ben overhears and tries to talk to him, but Daniel is traumatized and continues to escape without saying a word. Having no other choice, Ben runs downstairs with Ollie to rescue Blake. They try lifting the debris off, but it's too heavy. Ben looks in the trunk of the car and finds something to lift the car. They start to lift the car while also flattening the tires and manage to pull Blake out before she gets completely crushed. The three run out of the building as the quake continues to destroy everything around. They run away from buildings and take cover until the quake stops. Blake says she needs to contact Ray, but Ben tells her that cell phones aren't working. She tells them they need to get to an electronics store. Lawrence and his colleagues scramble to find ways to warn people of the impending doom. With Serena's and other colleagues' help, they manage to hack all the TV satellites and send a broadcast to the people of San Francisco to escape however they can, because the next wave of quakes is expected to be even more powerful and is to be felt on the East Coast. Blake joins the brothers as they make their way onto the streets. They go to an electronics store to call Ray since their cell service is down. Blake tells her parents that Daniel abandoned her, but that she is now with Ben and Ollie. They decide to rendezvous at Colt Tower to be rescued. After they hang up with Blake, Emma calls Daniel and threatens to kill him for leaving Blake alone. Daniel is wandering through the city when another quake hits. He pushes a man hanging onto a pole to avoid the large gust of wind that follows. While Ray and Emma makes their way to San Francisco, the chopper starts to fail after taking a hit in LA. Ray and Emma are forced to crash land in Bakersfield in a shopping center. There, they see people looting from a store and then spot a pickup truck. Ray tries to hotwire it until a punk holds a gun to his head. Ray easily takes the gun and knocks him out, and then drives the car away. Throughout their trip, they continue to discuss what happened to Mallory and the effect it had on them and their marriage. They drive past an elderly couple trying to flag them down. They stop right before a massive opening along the San Andreas Fault, separating the Earth. Ray and Emma return to the couple and thank them for the warning. Ray learns that the man has a plane, and they trade it for the truck. While refueling the plane, Ray and Emma talk. Ray tells her that the reason they broke up was because of him, because he didn't know how to deal with Mallory's death. He says that he was the one who brought up the idea to take Mallory to a rafting day, and that he can't forget the look on her face when she realized he wasn't going to save her. And then coming home every day to Emma and Blake after that made it even harder for him, because nothing was the way it used to be. He apologizes to Emma for how things have ended between them. They both then start to have a common ground in fixing their relationship and saving Blake. They then fly to San Francisco. Blake, Ben, and Ollie continue walking and find that Colt Tower is engulfed in flames. They come across a fire truck and get some supplies and a radio. Blake then resolves to go to Nob Hill to reach higher ground. Ben is hesitant since the authorities are guiding people in the other direction, but Ollie has come to trust Blake and agrees with her decision. Ray and Emma make it to San Francisco, but see that the airport is destroyed. Since there is no way to land the plane, Ray gets an idea to jump off the plane with a parachute. Emma is afraid to go through with it, but trusts Ray. They jump off and manage to land in a stadium safely. At Caltech, Lawrence and Serena are watching their warning on the news when another quake suddenly starts to hit. Everyone takes cover, and Lawrence tells them that the quake there is going to be over soon, but it will hit San Francisco hard. Blake, Ben, and Ollie are making their way to Nob Hill through an empty town. Blake then sees the building Daniel built before the quake starts to hit. Buildings around them start to collapse, and a shard of glass gets into Ben's leg. The quake hits even harder than the last time, collapsing skyscraper buildings, roads, houses, bridges, etc., and taking many lives. Ray and Emma notice people trapped, and Ray goes to help them. He guides many people to safety before carrying an injured woman and takes her with the others. After the quake has stopped, Ray and Emma see that all the roads to Blake have been blocked with debris and collapsed buildings. They see boats nearby and decide to go around. Blake, Ben, and Ollie manage to survive. Blake makes a tourniquet for Ben and carries him to safety. At Caltech, Lawrence and his colleagues see the quake that hit San Francisco as a 9.6 on the Richter scale, making it the largest and most powerful earthquake ever recorded. While traveling with a boat, Ray and Emma notice the water levels receding. Ray quickly realizes that it's a tsunami and they quickly drive away from the bay. Blake and the brothers then hear on the radio they collected from the fire truck that a tsunami is coming towards them, and they hear sirens going off around them. Blake tells them that they need to immediately take cover inside Daniel's building and starts to run toward it. A huge tsunami is ready to hit the city. Ray and Emma race toward the tsunami with many other boats and ships. Ray says they need to get over it before it crests and increases their speed. They drive the boat up the tsunami as other boats start to crash. Just before they make it, a huge cargo ship starts to come toward them. Ray quickly turns the boat, and they barely escape the turbines, which rips off the roof. The containers on the ship then start to fall, but Ray manages to evade all of them and escape. They stop and look back as the tsunami heads straight for the city. Daniel is running along the Golden Gate Bridge when the cargo ship flies over and drops a freight container right on top of him, killing him instantly. The rest of the bridge is destroyed, killing everyone on the bridge. The tsunami then starts to destroy the city. It kills thousands of people as it destroys everything in its path. Blake and the brothers manage to get inside Daniel's building, but realize that they are not high enough. They take cover as water breaks through the window and floods the building. Ray and Emma start to look for Blake around the city. Ray guesses that Blake is in one of the high-rise buildings and continues to look for her. As Blake helps Ben, he tells her she is unbelievable, and they kiss. Ray and Emma ride the boat by the high-rise, where Blake and Ollie can see them. She signals her parents with a laser pointer, allowing them to find her. The building then starts to sink, and the water level rises. The water knocks Blake and the brothers away. Ben manages to get Ollie to higher ground, but Blake gets stuck inside a room. Ray kisses Emma and promises to get their girl out. He rushes into the building to save Blake. Ray finds Blake trapped in another room as the door won't budge. She tells Ray she loves him as he struggles to break her out. Blake starts to suffocate and loses consciousness. Ray manages to get the door open and gets her out. He takes her to a higher ground where Ben and Ollie are. The building starts to collapse, and Ben starts to break the window for a way out while Ray tries to revive Blake. Emma sees Blake's condition and rams the boat into the building. She gets everyone on the boat and drives out before the building completely comes crashing down. Ray tries to revive Blake with CPR, but it looks like she is gone. Emma and the brothers start to cry, but Ray refuses to give up. Fortunately, Ray manages to save her. The family is reunited once again. When the disaster is finally over, Serena tells Lawrence that he did good, and Lawrence tells her that they all did as they see the news thanking them for the warning. The family and the brothers find refuge at a camp in Marin County. Help is being given to all those who lost their homes and loved ones. Ray and Emma appear to have reconciled. He thanks Ben for being there for Blake, though Ben insists it's the other way around. Emma asks Ray, "What now?" He says, "Now we rebuild." The camera pans upward, showing the devastating effect of the earthquake.